More and more people are investing in smart trainers, but they're so loaded with tech. Are you getting the most out of it? Well, we're making this video with Wahoo to make sure that you are, whatever trainer you ride.
I think it's probably fair to say that most people who invest in an indoor smart trainer do so to use in conjunction with a third-party training app such as Zwift or the Sufferfest. The combination of these two has really transformed indoor cycling from something that used to be a bit of a chore to something that, well, people even call enjoyable these days. So if you haven't already done so, download yourself a free trial to either of these and simulate riding on the roads or racing with Zwift, or sticking to a really strict training session with the Sufferfest. It really is a great place to start. That being said, you probably don't even need a third-party app, as most smart trainers now come with their own platform, allowing you to use all of these additional features. The Wahoo Kicker rides real-world routes, either ones that you've already done or ones that you've created. Simply upload the GPX file to your element and let the smart trainer replicate it exactly. So you could, for example, prepare for a specific event all from the comfort of your own home. Or if you're training properly, the discomfort. To really get the most out of the training aspect of your smart trainer, you'll want to take advantage of the fact that it has an accurate and built-in power meter. So first up then is a fitness test to find out how strong you really are. And once you have the data from that, you can use it to plan and execute a really good training program. Training smarter, not harder, definitely applies these days.
Now we know Chris's fitness level, we can use something called erg mode or torture mode. What this does effectively is it hands control of the workout that you've selected over to your trainer, meaning that it will literally generate the exact amount of resistance required to hold you at the power output that the workout has selected. Now what that means is that if you then start to pedal slower, the trainer will generate more resistance so that you still keep the same power output, or vice versa. If you start to pedal faster, then it will back off the resistance while still generating the same amount of power. Now, what that is great for is actually carrying out the workout of choice to the book. If you're anything like me and you're out on the open road, you probably overcook the first couple of intervals and then struggle to complete the session. But when erg mode is switched on, you know that you will complete the workout consistently. How is that 400 watts doing for you, mate?
It's not great. To get the most out of riding with erg mode, there's definitely a certain technique you'll want to practice, and that is to anticipate the interval starting and up your cadence before the turbo trainer increases the resistance. And that's because when we produce more power, we naturally want to pedal faster. So if you don't get ready, not only is it going to feel really, really weird, but worst case scenario, you may not even get on top of the gear and hit the right power numbers, which will disable erg mode. And in fact, when it comes to doing sprint training, we would actually recommend you disable it completely anyway.
Do you want to train for flat roads or hill climbs, or a little bit of both? Because thinking about your gear choice when doing your intervals will have a subtle but nevertheless important effect on just what you're training your body for. So, for example, if you choose easier gears and therefore the flywheel is turning slower but with more resistance on it in order to get to the same power output, then that's kind of going to simulate climbing. Whereas on the flip side, if you use a harder gear, make the flywheel turn faster for a given power, that will simulate riding on flat roads. The reason being that the variation in inertia that comes from the flywheel turning at different rates will actually affect how you put power through the pedals. The theory goes that actually your leg muscles will fire at different rates depending on the inertia that you're feeling through the pedals.
So we touched on the interactive third-party apps before, but I'm going to bring up another aspect of that now, and that's the social side of things, particularly when it comes to Zwift racing or Zwift group rides, where I find the smart trainer makes this really engaging experience that you otherwise don't really get, and it certainly helps me ride a little bit harder for a little bit longer than I perhaps would if I was on it by myself. I don't like being overtaken by all these other people though.
No matter how smart your trainer is, remember that you are still riding indoors. And so the very best thing that you can do to get the most out of your workout is to try and stay as cool as possible. If you get too hot, your body will literally stop you from working hard in order to protect itself. And so with that in mind, you should open windows, have loads of fluids to hand, and make sure that you have some kind of fan in front of you. Now this Wahoo headwind one is a bells and whistles example. Like, it can connect up to your heart rate and the trainer, meaning that it will vary its rate depending on either how fast you're going or how hard you're working. But most importantly of all, it has a monster airflow to it. But anything will be better than nothing in order to try and keep you cool. So now you know how you can. Do you want to just lose the wig?
Mate, it was your idea.
I know, but now it's. There we go. Now you know how to get the most out of your smart trainer, which is perfectly timed, really, given the weather we are having here in the Northern Hemisphere.
So why not head over to the GCN shop if, like me, you need to replace your turbo trainer towel. Perfectly sized to drape over your bars and collect all of that sweat.
Yeah, now if you want to have another look at Zwift racing, which Chris mentioned earlier on, then why not check out the recent GCN Zwift race that we had in central London. That was just on screen now.
Brutal.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah.